To get started, locate the My Viewboard app on your desktop and double-click to open. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure that you're signed in. So either type in your email, click the account you need to sign in with like Google or Office 365, or use the companion app to scan the QR code. You can check to see if you signed in correctly by looking in the top left to see if your unique name is displayed. Let's get comfortable navigating around My Viewboard. In the top left, you'll see your unique username. In the bottom left is your background management menu. Over on the bottom right, you'll see your page manager where you can create new tabs or access the browser. Over here on the right is your toolbar. It's going to contain most of the tools that you'll need to create lessons in My Viewboard. Up in the top right, you'll see things like casting and settings.
Reproduction, always a popular topic. And each other to combine to make the final separation of cytokinesis, then mark the end of telophase 2. From one original cell with 46 chromosomes, we now have 4 new cells with 23 single chromosomes.
During interphase, chromatophase, with the individual chromatids bending toward the opposite poles of the cell. Metaphase ends when the centromeres that bind the sister chromatids together break apart. Anaphase is the
If you have content that lives on the web or applications that you like to use for instructional purposes, My Viewboard is a tool that allows you to use overlay tools that will then connect back to My Viewboard. For example, if I click on the Windows toggle button here, it automatically brings me to my desktop. As you can see, I have my tools that are available to me. If I select the pen tool, I can change the color, I can change pens, if I want to mark something up or annotate for students. I also can come back to my mouse and manipulate this object where I can bring in $1.50 and I can move these around on my screen. I also can use the screen capture tool to select that image and it brings it directly into My Viewboard. I can continue to bounce back and forth between the Windows toggle button and the My Viewboard whiteboarding software throughout the process or throughout the instructional day. Feel free to use the Windows toggle button And if at any time the tools get in your way, simply click the crosshairs and you can move it out of the way. You also can make the tools disappear and reappear by clicking and dragging it around. That is how I would use the Windows toggle button.
So my Viewboard also has the ability to send whatever's on your screen to another device. So it doesn't have to be a full-blown PC or Mac device. It can even be a mobile device. As long as they're running a browser, they can access what's being displayed on your screen. So what they need to do is go to myviewboard.com, and the difference is you have to be signed in. So you have to have a myviewboard.com account and you have to sign in. And at the very top, you'll see this icon here in the middle, which is an image of a screen being pushed sort of to another device. And when I touch that, it opens a window that says cast a viewboard to my screen. And so all I need to do is type in the viewboard name. So if I go back to my program and I touch the share icon up here, you can see that the board name is VS Trainer. You can also look in the top left and you can see that VS Trainer is displayed there. So that is the board name. So I go back into Chrome and I type in that VS Trainer, click submit, and then in my Viewboard, if I go to that share window, you can see that I'm getting requests to view my board. So I have to enable it. It's not automatic, but when I touch a name, they turn green. And then if we switch here quickly, you can see that it's being received. Now it's going to mirror because we're displaying picture in picture, but it's going to display every device. And if I want to turn that off, I just touch there. So remember, casting has to be on. So this icon is green right now. If I touch this and it turns red, that is not going to work. So it must be green in order to have your screen shared with other devices. Also, it's important to check the settings, the little cogwheel on the top, and then touch the eye and make sure that it says remote control available. If remote control is unavailable, this feature will not work, which means it could potentially be a network issue or ports aren't set up correctly on your network. So at any time, you can share screens from other devices onto the My Viewboard program. Note that the device sharing their screen needs to be a Windows device or a Mac device using Google Chrome and running the My Viewboard Chrome extension. Before you can start sharing screens, you need to check two settings. In the top right corner, select the cogwheel and then select the eye icon and make sure that right here it says remote control available. If it says control unavailable, you won't be able to cast and it's possibly a network issue. Up here in the top, you can see that there's a little icon that's red and it has Wi-Fi icons on it or like waves coming off of it. To touch that, that opens the Share Cast features. You can also access it by selecting the little person icon here underneath the Windows icon and above the screen capture icon. Red means that casting and sharing is turned off. To turn it on, simply touch it. It'll change the color yellow, and then it will turn green when it is active. You can see that the instructions to cast are to go to www.myviewboard.com. So participants should go to their Chrome browser, get to this page. They don't even need to sign in, but here in the top, you'll see that there are a few icons. There are the paper airplane, which is the throw, and then there's the screen share one here in the middle. If I touch that, it'll ask me to install the Chrome extension. And once it's installed, you don't have to have access to it again. because this extension will be installed permanently on the Chrome browser. So again, touch that throw and a new window will open saying cast my screen. Participants will need to enter their name and then a Viewboard name. The Viewboard name can be found in a couple spots. First, it can be found here in this window. You can see it here at the top. It says my Viewboard name VS Trainer. Also, it can be found here in the top left. You can see right there it says VS Trainer. So participants would need to type in VS Trainer and then touch the share button. A new window will appear that will say share your entire screen, and you need to select the share button, which is right here. Back in my Viewboard, when someone finally clicks share, you'll see a notification saying that someone wants to share their screen. And if you touch the receive screen icon, you can see that the participant's name shows up and their little share icon is red. By default, it's turned off, and you have to touch their name to turn it on. And from there, you can see that they're able to share their screen. Their screen pops up in a new window that's movable and resizable. If you have multiple people join, the screens will appear next to each other. Down at the bottom, you get some controls, like the ability to use the microphone so you can speak through your board to the device. There's a list icon which lets you see who you're receiving screens from, and if I were to touch that name, it would turn off their screen. I can use the camera icon, which allows me to take a screenshot of whatever is on the device screen. And I can also make this full screen by touching the full screen icon. When you are finished, simply click the X button to close the share window. When using My Viewboard, you might want to record what's on the screen. From the main toolbar, open the screenshot icon, and then touch the screen recording icon. Hit the record button, and then select your video resolution. A countdown will begin, and you can start your lesson. During your lesson, if you have a microphone connected to your board, audio will be recorded, as well as anything that happens on the screen. From the screen recording floating toolbar, you can hit pause or stop to complete the recording of your lesson. The video will play so you can sample what you just recorded. To save your video, touch the save icon and select either local on your computer or connect it to your cloud storage. To capture you can use the screen capture tool to select anything that you see on your canvas and make a quick copy of it. For example, in this lesson, we're taking a look at some libraries. I'm going to have kids discuss this library that they see here in this picture. But since this is Google Maps and it might go away, I want to capture this picture. So I can activate my screen capture tool. I can take a full screen or I can do a trace, but I'm just going to use a rectangle tool. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a rectangle on this image here. When I let go, you can see that it's actually made a picture that I can resize, enlarge, and write over. And from here I could obviously engage the kids with a discussion like, how does this library look different than the library in our school? In my viewboard at any time, you can move the toolbars. Simply find the toolbar move button and drag anywhere on the canvas to reposition your toolbar.
Hey, Rob from ViewSonic. Today we're going to talk about the folder tool. Let's say I finished my work here on my canvas and I want to open a new file. I'm going to tap the folder icon and tap the new file icon. Now I have a new canvas. I can start some new work. Again, if you'd like to learn more, look in our description for more tips and tricks videos. Let's say after doing a little work, I want to open an old file. I'm going to tap on the folder icon and tap on Open File icon. I don't want to save this. I'm going to find my old file, double tap it, and now I can do some more work on it. Again, if you'd like to learn more, look in our description for more tips and tricks videos. So I'll open my file. I want to make a few changes. Quite like that. So now I'm going to save it. I'm going to tap on the folder icon, tap on the save icon. I'm going to add a few more things to it. Select my monkey. I'll copy him to this page. Move him over. Now I have 3 monkeys. I quite like that, but I need to change my file name. So I'm going to tap the folder icon, tap Save As icon, type in a new name, and then tap the check. Again, if you'd like to learn more, look in our description for more tips and tricks videos.
To export your canvas and other file formats, simply click the file management icon and then select the export icon. By default, it's going to look on your PC to save the file like desktop, but you of course can save to Google Drive or OneDrive as well. Once you find the folder you want to save stuff to, select the file format by clicking on the menu and selecting PNG or JPEG, which are both image files, PDF, or PowerPoint. Give your file a name, and then click the check mark to export that file.
I have my 3 monkeys. Maybe I want to make a handout, give it to my kids or to my students. So I can tap the folder icon, tap the print icon, select my printer, and tap print. Again, if you'd like to learn more, look in our description for more tips and tricks videos.
Anything you create can also be printed. To print something, use the File Management menu and then select the printer icon. We can print this math strategy out to any local printers onto a piece of paper or even a poster and then staple it up on the wall for other kids to use later. If your kids have their own personal devices like iPads or cell phones, with cameras on them, you can also use a file management tool to generate a QR code. When you generate a QR code, it allows users to scan it with their devices and get instant access to a PDF copy of everything in your presentation. The file management tool allows you to create, save, and open new Viewboard files. This icon is to create a new one. Here's where you can open existing Viewboard files. By default, the program will look on your computer for these. However, if you have them saved in Google Drive or Office 365, just click the corresponding icon and navigate to the canvas that you would like to open. Likewise, when you want to save a canvas, you can save it locally to your computer, or you can click on the Google Drive icon and simply navigate to the folder where you would like to save your file. Give your file a name, and then click the check mark to save it. The file is uploaded then to your cloud. The Magic Box tool gives you a lot of various options in terms of opening and inserting different kinds of files. So adding images, music, videos, or even other types of files like .notebook files or PowerPoints can all be done from here. In addition, you can look for files in your cloud documents, like in Google Drive or OneDrive. There's also other features like sticky notes, various tools, and online widgets, including the ability to see any throw sessions that you've had. You can use the Magic Box to import any other kinds of resources, like .notebook files, which you can filter using the .notebook icon, and then simply double-click to open. When you do this, it adds it as a new page in your canvas. And any kind of features that originally existed on the file, like in this case, a drag and drop, are instantly transferred over into your canvas. This feature works for all sorts of file types, including PowerPoints, video files, images, and music, including other My Viewboard files that can be imported and added on as extra pages. To add and use sticky notes, simply go to the Magic Box and select the sticky note icon. You can choose any color sticky note you would like. You can change the line width or change the color of your pen tool. If you prefer text, you can select the text tool, and then you can write your note. When you're finished with your note, hit the X button for that note to be inserted on the canvas. Notes can be dragged around and placed wherever you would like. You can change the color of the note. To edit a note, simply double tap it. You can use the delete button to erase your note. And when you're finished, just hit the X button. Sticky notes can be added by opening the Magic Box, then selecting the sticky note icon. touch and drag a sticky note onto your canvas. You can type using text, or you can use the marker to draw. When you are finished, close the sticky note. You can also arrange sticky notes by touching one and then selecting the checkbox. You can reverse the order by color. To return back to floating sticky notes, close the sorter, and you can drag sticky notes in any order you would like. Another feature of the Magic Box are the online widgets. Simply click the cloud with the down arrow to access the online widgets. In the Education folder, there's a Sport folder and an Animal folder. Inside these folders are widgets that can be animated. So I can take this cycling one here and drag it onto my canvas. We can get an animal one here too. Again, drag it onto my canvas. And how these work, you can drag them and arrange them however you want to, but there will be little icons underneath them that allow you to interact with them. So you can see as I touch the cyclist, it allows him to ride his bike. And this lion here, when I tap,
we're going to look at a use case scenario of using the throw feature in the classroom. We're discussing parallelograms, and as we see above, it is defined for us. What we want to do is find a sample image that students can relate to. So I'm going to do a Google search for a parallelogram, use the image search, and drag this image onto my canvas. I'm going to close my browser and then enlarge by dragging or pinching this object. So now students can relate to a parallelogram. What I want to have happen now is students throw a real-life image of a parallelogram to me. So what they need to do is go to this website, myviewboard.com/vsblake. I got this because of my unique name, and when I click it, it gives me this website. As an example for you, I'm actually going to go to a new incognito window to that website, myviewboard.com/vsblake. When the page loads, the first thing it's going to ask is for a student name. In this case, I'm going to name it Demo and confirm. As you can see here, I have a couple options. One that we're going to focus on is throw. So I can upload this file from my menu. Once I go to my downloads folder, I can find the eraser or the object that represents a parallelogram. I click open, and it says sending. It says the job has been sent. As the instructor, I can see that I have a 1 here. This will launch the throw feature, which can be found in the Magic Box. When I select throw, I can see that the student demo has thrown this image that I can use as part of my demonstration. This is also a way that a teacher can get images from their devices onto the panel or onto the software that can be used instructionally. I hope you find this feature of throw valuable. Pop quiz is a neat feature that you can find in the Magic Box. This feature can be leveraged instructionally to get feedback from students. For example, as we talk about parallelograms and we give an example, one thing that we could do is advance to our next slide and have students choose which is an example of a parallelogram, or all of these. This is not something I'd have to create ahead of time. It could be a verbal question or a yes or no, or I could have students actually draw me a parallelogram. The way students would go about doing this is that you would click on your unique name, have the students go to this website. Right here, I've teed up the website, myviewboard.com/myuniquename vsblake. The first option is for students to input their name and click confirm. You'll notice right here is the pop quiz icon. When selected, the students now have a canvas that they can draw on or write on. They can choose from any of the following answers. You also can notice that there is the auto draw that populates if students wanted to use that. So now I have the example A, B, and C are the correct answers, and the student hits throw. It's a success. From the teacher's standpoint, what we need to do is launch the magic toolbox and pop quizzes. As you can see here, demo submitted a file, and I can see the responses and toggle back and forth. If I want to set a new question, I can clear the canvas. These responses are saved in my pop quiz folder in my cloud drive. I hope that you can find pop quizzes a valuable feature for getting feedback from your students.
Hey, it's Rob from ViewSonic. Today we're going to talk about the throw feature, which allows an audience to share their files via their phone, tablet, or laptop through the Chrome browser onto the My Viewboard canvas. I first have to make sure I'm logged into my Viewboard account. So maybe we're going to talk about a subject such as green energy. I can ask my audience to throw their ideas at me, and they can do this one of two ways, at myviewboard.com or through our companion app, and they can share images, videos, or documents. After they throw their files, I'll get some notifications up here. So I'll click on the bell icon and open them. And then I'll be able to see the files and who sent them. And I can drag them onto my canvas. So maybe I drag this PowerPoint. And I can see the slides. First one's about geothermal power. Tap the icon down here to the next slide. A little bit about wave power. If I want to see more files, I can tap on the magic box and the throw icon. Maybe I'll drag out an image as well as a video. And on the video, you just got to click on it, hit the play button to start it. If need be, you can make it a little larger or a little smaller. So that's the throw feature. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. Hey, Rob from ViewSonic. Today we're going to talk about the pop quiz feature, which allows an audience to submit their answers via phone, tablet, or laptop through the Chrome browser. First, I have to make sure I'm logged into my Viewboard account. As you can see, I already am. Then I can present my question to the audience. After that, I'll generate a link so they can submit their answers by tapping on my name. And they can submit their answers one of two ways, either through their My Viewboard account or as a guest. After they submit their answers, I have a few notifications up here, so I'll click on the bell icon and open it. As a teacher or presenter, I can flip their answer cards to reveal their answers. And if I want, I can comment on each one individually. And finally, if I want to save the results, I can upload it to my default cloud storage. So that's the Pop Quiz feature. Let us know down below how you plan to use it.
One way to add YouTube videos to your Canvas is to use the embed browser. If you want to see how to do that, go watch the embed browser video. For this video, we're going to show you how to add YouTube directly from the Magic Box. So if I open my Magic Box tool, I can see the YouTube video icon here at the top. Now note, if you don't see this icon, it's probably because you're not signed in. You have to be signed into the My Viewboard program in order to get this feature. So I'm going to click on that, and then up here in the search bar I can search for any video I want. Once I find a video I like, I simply need to touch and drag or click and drag that video onto my canvas. As with other videos, I can play it directly in the canvas. To insert an equation, simply open the Magic Box, go to Tools, and then drag in the Math Input window. Begin writing your equation. As you run out of room, the equation window will automatically resize to accommodate your equation. When you are finished, simply touch Insert and close the Math Input window. Use the Select tool to move your equation or resize it. The color of your equation is determined by the color of the marker before you begin writing in the Math Input panel. So sometimes you're going on in a lesson like this and you just run out of room. So this is a perpendicular line lesson. So we say, hey, these pictures, they show 90-degree angles. So I'm going to draw a line from here, draw a line from here, draw a line from here. Now I'm out of room. Well, I can use the infinite canvas to give myself some more space. So if I touch the hand here, you can see that I'm using 100% of my space. But if I do a pinch zoom, like with 2 fingers, I can actually zoom out and then slide this over to give myself some more space. So then I can come over here, draw a triangle, use my select tool to get the adorning menu, use the angle button to show the 90-degree angle here, and continue my conversation without having to create a new page, and I still have access to all of my content that I was originally working on. The selector tool can be found in your toolbar and allows you to interact with objects and text on your canvas. So using my selector tool here, I can touch this circle and pull out pieces of the pie. I can also touch even handwritten text and move it around. If I touch and drag, I can select multiple objects at once. By using the selector tool, I can also pull up the adorning menu, which allows me to manipulate the object depending on what it is. Now when I use the Windows button to go access Windows, you'll notice that by default I have the mouse button turned on. If I touch my pen tool and locate the selector button here, the selector button allows you to select written objects or text or images, but it doesn't allow you to interact with the Windows desktop. So if I want to click and use this website on the Windows desktop, I actually need to switch back to the mouse tool, and now I can use the objects here on the website.
The adorning tools are valuable tools that will be used when you select an object. You'll notice a difference between the adorning tools when you select an image versus annotation. There are some common tools that you'll notice. One is a trash can, which will simply delete the object. You have a lock button, which will make it so the image is not movable. You simply click the lock to unlock it. This is a spinner tool that when selected will actually just spin the object in a circle. And then we have a hyperlink to which you can link to files, URLs, text strings, sound files, or to a different page within the My Viewboard software, and then also some other tools such as screen shade or a calculator. You have a copy button and a cut button. And then the next tool is the infinite cloner. When you select that and you drag out from the image, you'll notice that you can create multiple copies. Okay. This is valuable when I'm creating manipulatives, and I need a lot of manipulatives for my students to move around. The next tool here is our ability to change the order of objects. So if I wanted to make sure that this image was behind other images, I could simply change my layering. I also have the ability to flip this image upside down and move it around my canvas. As you can see here, I can mirror it as well, which will duplicate the images for me. The next button is the Save As, which means I could take this one object, use the cloud, and save it either locally or to my cloud drive. As soon as I give it a name, it'll save it as a PNG file. And then I have the ability to crop, make this image fit to screen. I'll undo that real fast. And then I also have the ability of making this as a set background, which will make it a locked background on this page. Hopefully you get to enjoy the adorning tools and notice the difference between an image and annotation.
To copy and paste objects in My Viewboard, simply click on an object to get access to the adorning menu. On there you'll see one icon that looks like two pieces of paper stacked on top of each other. That's the copy icon. Go ahead and touch it to get a notification that your objects have been copied. And then down in the navigation toolbar, you can click the Paste on Canvas icon to add as many copies as you would like. Likewise, you can go to any sort of website, copy that image, go back to the My Viewboard program, and click that paste button to paste that image over and over again. When dealing with shapes or pictures in various objects, it's important to understand how they interact differently. For example, when I click this shape here of the sun, my adorning menu has some different features, like I can change the line thickness, I can change the interior and exterior colors using the paint bucket and the palette tool. But when I select this image, I'm not going to have those abilities. But what you will notice is that they both have this icon here in common, which has to do with layering. So, if we look at these two objects, if I wanted to move this sun object on top of this sky background, you'll notice that my sun actually goes behind this image. And that's because this image of the sky was inserted after the object of the sun. And so from a layering perspective, the image is on the top layer and the sun is on the bottom layer. I can change that by going to my layer icon, touching it once, and you'll see there's different icons, like I can move it up one layer or down one layer depending on how many objects I have. I'm going to select bring to front, and what that's going to do is it's going to move my sun to the very top layer or closest to me, and then it allows me to put that on top of my sky image. The fade tool allows you to apply a fade out feature to any object. It doesn't work on text, but it will work on images and shapes. So you can see here we have these treasure chests with rewards or prizes behind them, like a positive phone call home. So what I do is I click up here in the adorning menu on the object that I want to fade, and I can select how quickly that fade transition happens. So we're going to leave that one up here and make sure that this one's applied as well. Now when I click on these objects, the fade doesn't happen, and that's because I need to enter presentation mode. So down in the toolbar, I'm going to click on presentation mode. And now I can have kids come up and click on these objects, and they'll fade away, and they can pick prizes. Fade animations can be applied to text or objects. Start by selecting the Select tool. Then select either text or an object, and then touch the Fade tool in the adorning menu. Drag the slider to change the fade speed. Same with objects. Touch the object, select the fader, and then drag the slider. To activate the animations, touch the Present button in the floating toolbar. Then touch the objects that are animated. Locate the pen tool in your toolbar. Touch it twice to open the pen menu. As with other tools, you can select its color or find more advanced colors under the plus button. You can change your pen thickness, and then on your canvas, you can draw with your pen. If we go back into our pen menu, you can see there's also a paintbrush tool that acts more like a paintbrush instead of a finer point pen. There's a highlighter, the laser pen, which kind of acts like a highlighter. When you're on your canvas, you can circle things and say, hey, check this out here, this is important. The only difference is that as soon as I go to highlight somewhere else, that original goes away. It allows you to point out something on the canvas without leaving it there permanently. And as soon as you move to the next portion, that old portion disappears. There's also a shape pen where you can get fun shapes and draw those around on the canvas. And then finally, a magic line pen, which allows you to pick fun patterns, and you can draw letters or shapes or whatever using fun patterns. To access the AI pen, simply select the pen tool, touch it twice to open the pen menu, then locate the AI pen icon and touch it once to open up the AI pen interface. Over here you'll have a canvas, and we can go down and select our color at the bottom. If I draw something on the canvas, what's going to happen is, to the best of the ability of the program, it's going to guess what it is that you're trying to draw. And over here you can see there's a tree, and I can actually take this object and drag it onto my canvas as a shape. So we can clear this using the trash can. This time let's try to draw a sun. You can see there again, it knows or guesses what I'm trying to draw, and then I can drag that onto my canvas. Any objects that you draw and place on your canvas can become interactive, so I can come here and change the colors using the adorning menu. I can change the fill color as well. And I can resize these shapes. When using my Viewboard, you might want to erase something that you've written. Simply select the eraser tool and begin erasing. You can also touch the eraser tool again to increase the eraser size. Or if you'd like, you can use the eraser selector tool to select an entire area, which will just erase it. In addition, you can push the trash can button to erase or clear the whole canvas. To draw more advanced shapes and objects, go back to the Shape menu and then select 3D shapes at the bottom. Notice that it acts much like normal shapes, where I can change the line thickness and I can pick a special color if I would like to. And then I can draw that shape here on my canvas. One thing to note, every time you change the shape in the shape menu, the shape icon changes as well. So if you ever get lost, just know that whatever you see selected is the kind of shape that the shape tool is going to draw. If I touch it again, I can also do lines, so I can draw lines with arrows or lines that are dashed and in any direction. Or I can use arcs that actually can connect shapes. And if I need to readjust them, I can grab those blue dots there and adjust the arcs. To add text to your canvas, locate the icon that looks like a T. Touch it once, and then anywhere on your canvas, touch again to open the text editor. From here you can see there are options to change your font, change the font size, make your text bold, italic, underline, change the font color, or change the background color, left, center, and right justified, and of course bulleted lists. To resize the editor, simply touch and drag one of the corners to the desired height and width, and then type in whatever you would like. If at any time you would like to increase the size of the text, simply select it and increase the font size, or change the font, or change the color as well. Once you're done editing, click the X. Text that's been added instantly becomes an object, so if I go to my Select tool, you'll notice that I get an adorning menu with my text. So instead of going back into the text editor, if I want to change the color, I can simply choose a new color right there from the color palette. Or if I drag the edges, I can increase the size of the text. To edit the text again, simply double click on it or double touch, which will open the text editor again. To turn handwriting into text, locate the text tool, touch it again till you can see the handwriting looking icon. From there, go ahead and write whatever you would like to. And you'll see that down here in the bottom right, an icon has appeared that shows converting handwriting strokes to text. Touch that, and anything that you were written turns into text, which can be typed and edited, as well as if I use the Select tool, I can change the color of it or resize it. If I touch the text tool again one more time, I can also use it to do math symbols or equations. It also solves them. So if I write, for example, 2/3 plus 1/3 equals, and same thing, press this icon down here in the bottom right that turns it into text, you'll see that it solves the problem. As with most programs, my Viewboard also includes the ability to undo and redo. As with many programs, my Viewboard has the ability to undo and redo events. So if I'm writing here, and we do a shape, if I press the undo button, it will undo the last thing I did, so that drawn shape, and if I press it again, that line. If I would like to redo the previous event or action, just simply touch the redo button to go back. To add a new page, go to your navigation toolbar and click the Add a New Page icon. To go back, simply use the forward and backwards buttons to return to your previous page or go to the next page. In your toolbar, you can also use the Page Management menu to see all the pages in your canvas and their order. Press here to delete a page, or if you would like to duplicate a page, click here. When you're finished, just click the X to close the window. To switch between design and presentation mode, simply find the little person in front of the chalkboard icon and click it. When you click it, it's going to take your canvas and put it full screen. Notice that my toolbar is gone from the bottom, and all I have access to are the tools here on the right. In fact, my embed browser and other icons are gone. This is great for when presenting or using it with students. Touch it again to switch back to design mode, and you'll notice you'll get access back to some of your tools, and your taskbar from Windows is back. Your embed browser looks kind of like a Google Chrome icon and is down here by the navigation buttons. Touch it once to open and you'll be taken to a page that has tiles. They're kind of like bookmarks that you can make and custom yourself. Go to myviewboard.com if you would like to change these. You'll notice that the browser looks kind of like a normal web browser with a URL bar here where you can type in any website and go to it directly. You can also use this icon to open a on-screen keyboard. This takes you back home. You can refresh your page or forward and backwards buttons. Over here on the left, you can close your browser, make it full screen, or minimize it. There's also an embed tool which lets you make the current web page embedded onto your canvas. Or you can use the snapshot tool. Here you have your pen tool, which allows you to write directly onto your browser, or the eraser to erase whatever you've drawn on your browser. A quick way to use the browser is to go to your favorite websites, and you can use them right in My Viewboard without having to leave the program. Another feature of the embed browser is the ability to embed websites onto the canvas. Simply search for your website or type it in the URL. Open your website, and when you're on the page that you want embedded, click on the Make the Current Web Page Become a Tool button, and it's going to take that website and put it in as an object. All you have to do is resize it by dragging and using the resize arrow to make it bigger. And it's a fully functioning website that can be interacted with on your board. One cool feature of the embed browser is to be able to insert images and videos directly onto your canvas. So you can go to something like Google Search, enter your search terms, click on images, find the image that you like, and all you're going to do is touch and drag it onto your canvas. That image will be inserted directly, and you can resize it as an object. You can also add videos, again, going to your browser, type in your search term, but this time we're going to go to videos, and you can see here's a YouTube video. All I need to do is touch and drag that link onto my canvas, and it will insert that video as an object onto my canvas. Now when I'm ready for this part in my lesson, all I have to do is hit play for that YouTube video to load and play in my lesson.
The Shape tool is located in the main toolbar. Touch it once to activate it, touch it twice to pull up the Shape menu. Select the color desired from the menu at the top. Notice that the color will change various shades of whatever color is selected. You can change the line thickness of your shape, as well as the line transparency. On the bottom, select your shape, and then touch and drag on your canvas to draw it. Notice that for a brief moment, the side lengths as well as interior angle measurements are displayed. When you release, the adorning menu will appear. In the adorning menu, you can use the paint bucket to change the interior color of the shape. You can use the line tool to change the line thickness, the color palette tool to change the color of the outside of the line, as well as the segment tool to segment the shape into the number of sides there are. So a pentagon will segment into 5 pieces, a square 4, etc.
To display the measurements of the shape, touch the Show Measurements icon. This will display interior angles as well as side measurements. I can touch measurements to make them appear or disappear. If I wish to change the type of measurement being used, I can go to the settings and change from imperial to metric. Circles behave a little differently. So when I draw a circle and I wish to segment it, I get choices. So in this case, I can segment the circle into 8ths. Once a shape is segmented, I can drag out each piece, which then becomes its own shape. Each of these can be selected, and I can use the paint bucket tool to change the interior color. I can also change the interior color by selecting the shape menu, choosing the color that I wish to use, and then touching the paint bucket. From here I can touch individual shapes, and the interior color will change. I can also freehand draw shapes using the shape recognition tool. This will allow you to draw circles and irregular polygons. Once the shape is drawn, touch the blue dots to stretch and manipulate the side lengths as well as the interior angle measurements. To quickly add images to your canvas, go to the magic box. In the magic box, you'll see this image, which is mountains and a sun. This is the image search option. It will search for family-friendly images as well as images labeled for reuse. Let's search for cosmetics. You'll get a list of images, and you can scroll and select anything you would like. To use an image, touch it and drag it onto your canvas. Background management can be found in the lower left corner of the My Viewboard canvas. Open this icon to get your background menu. The first icon down here on the left with the person holding their arms up is the Follow Me AI. Any backgrounds that you add to your backgrounds folder in your cloud storage will be synced here. Selecting the color palette allows you to choose a solid color. Any color you touch will change the background. On the bottom you'll see gradients. So by touching a gradient, you can drag little arrows to 2 different colors and get various gradients of the color menu. You can also change the direction of the gradient. The image icon are built-in images. These have lined paper, or world maps, and others. Every time you touch an image, it'll ask you if you want to assign the background to one page or all pages in your presentation. To get different backgrounds based on your theme, you can touch the settings icon on the top left. By changing our theme from education to sport, for example, my backgrounds are now sports related, like basketball courts. You can also load backgrounds locally stored on your computer by touching the hard drive. These will allow you to search in your computer and add various images that are stored locally on your device. The grid icon allows you to turn a grid on or off. Confidential allows you to apply a confidential watermark. And then the calendar changes and displays the date and time on the top left of the background.
In this clip, we're going to download my Viewboard and install it on our device. Go to myviewboard.com, select the Download My Viewboard applications. Once you select the icon, the window will pop up with an ability to download a 32-bit and a 64-bit version of my Viewboard. As you can see, you can also download the Android APK, my Viewboard Chrome extension, as well as get the companion app on your phone or mobile device. In this instance, we're going to select Download My Viewboard 64-bit version. When you select it, you'll see the download start to occur in the bottom of your browser. Once completed, select that to run the application. The application will make changes to your device. You select yes, preparing to install, and now it will walk us through some steps that we need to click on some buttons. So we're going to select next, select accept the terms, next. This is where our name will automatically display here. You can change that if you would like, but what we really need to put in here is our email address. So let's type in our email address. Go ahead and confirm that email address and then select education or business based on your purpose. When you select next, the default install should be good enough, and then select install. Once completed, go ahead and click the finish button to complete the installation of my Viewboard. We can now go to our desktop, find the application, and open it up. What we're going to notice the very first time we open it up is that we're going to get a message that says there's a validation warning. Well, we already entered our email address, and so it basically had sent us an email that we need to go verify. I'm going to go ahead and select OK here. I'm going to close out of this application, go to my email, and look for service@myviewboard.com. I'll select the email, scroll down, and select Activate. This will open another tab and say that the software has been updated. I now can come back to my application, open it back up, and it should now tell me that my license is now validated. This is how you download and install my Viewboard.
To use the coordinate graphing tool, open the magic box from the main toolbar. Go to Tools, and then touch and drag the coordinate plane tool to the canvas. To move your coordinate plane, use the directional arrow. To show or hide the grid, touch the grid icon. To show and hide the numbers on the X and Y axis, touch the ruler icon. By default, the pen is already activated, so to graph, simply touch and draw. If you need more space on the X or Y axis, touch and drag the side to increase its length. If you make a mistake, touch the pen icon to make it an eraser. Touch it again to activate the pen. If you need to graph a straight line, return to the magic box, locate Tools, and touch and drag the ruler onto the canvas. Touch the middle of the ruler to drag its edge to one of the points on your graph. Find the vertical line on the ruler, right about 2 inches, and touch and drag up to rotate the ruler. Continue to drag until you feel it's aligned properly. Once you are ready to draw your line, start at the 0 and trace along the edge. Touch the X to close the ruler. When you are finished with the coordinate graphing tool, touch the X icon to close it. For activities that require a dice. For activities that require dice, go to the Magic Box, open Tools, locate the dice icon, and touch and drag onto the canvas. Touch and drag the window to move the dice. Touch the plus button to increase the number of dice, or the minus button to decrease. To roll the dice, touch the window. To change the color of the dice, touch the color palette, then select a color from the list. Touch the cogwheel to open settings. You can switch between numbers to letters or add images. To add images, touch the wrench. Then select an image using the Select tool. Make sure that it is selected and the adorning menu appears, then touch and drag the image onto the selected side of the die. Continue this process for every image. Once you are finished, touch the back arrow, and then, as before, touch the dice to roll. Objects such as text, shapes, and images can have a fade in or out animation applied to them. In this example, we have text behind rectangle shapes. In order to get the text behind the rectangle, select the text, then select the Layer tool to move it to the back. Select the rectangle, and then touch the fade icon, which is in the top right of the adorning menu. The first icon will be the fade out animation. This makes the object appear to disappear. Adjust the slider to change the speed of the animation. The bottom slider will apply the fade in animation. If only one is selected, only that action will be performed. If both are selected, then both actions will be performed. To enter present mode, locate the present icon in the floating toolbar. The only way to activate the animation is to be in this mode. Use the Select tool to touch your object. You'll see that it first fades out, and then if I touch it again, it fades in. This is applied to all the objects in this activity. To insert a table, go to the Shape menu, then select the table icon. Choose your table color, and then select however many rows and columns you would like. To move your table, like any object, use the Select tool and touch and drag it. To manipulate the cells, make sure the table first is not selected. Then do a long press onto one of the cells and then a touch and drag across however many cells you wish to edit. When you release, a little menu will appear. The first icon allows you to merge the cells together. The second part of the menu, using the paint bucket, will allow you to change the background color. You can also insert or delete a row. With tables, any object, text, shapes, or images can be dragged and dropped into the table. Simply drag and wait for the cell to highlight red, then release. The table will automatically resize depending on the size of the object. Move the table, select it, and drag. Microsoft Immersive Reader, a tool that supports reading comprehension, is built into My Viewboard for Windows. Simply type, copy and paste, or drag and select text from the embed browser, and then drag it onto the canvas. Once your text is on the canvas, use the Select tool to move it or resize it. Once resized, you'll notice in the adorning menu a book with a speaker icon on it. Touch this to translate the text into the Immersive Reader. Immersive Reader will allow you to do text-to-speech using the play button.
Can be so important because
Notice that the text is highlighted as it is read aloud. Touching the settings allows you to choose the style of voice as well as the voice speed. The top right allows you to change the text size as well as the font or themes. You can also display syllables or highlight specific parts of speech like nouns or adjectives. You can also translate the text, choosing individual words or the entire document. To return to My Viewboard, simply close Immersive Reader.
Hi, my name is Max, and today I want to talk about My Viewboard, which is really a whole new digital whiteboarding ecosystem made just for Viewboard, which is this digital whiteboard that you see here before you. My Viewboard is going to give educators instant access to lesson content straight on the surface of the whiteboard itself, so you're not going to need to be connecting and disconnecting a PC all the time. And these tools are going to allow you to make your classroom more interactive, more engaging certainly, easier to flip, but ultimately a more effective learning environment. Working with My Viewboard itself is highly intuitive, so I can always write anywhere on the screen that I would like at any time, and I can do that using my finger or a stylus. Just select the pen tool. It's going to give you a range of options. It's quite versatile, so I can select here the nib type that I like, the size that I like, and any color. Once I'm good, I can go in and write directly on the screen. Then once I've written, if I feel like this text is maybe too big, I can also select that and edit it however I would like, meaning I can resize it quite easily or reorient it. There's also another cool tool I would like to discuss a little. This is kind of unique. It's called the AI pen. So I just go here, and then let's say I want a tree on this map. Okay, well I can draw a tree, but as you can see, the problem is my tree is not very good, but it's good enough to give me a range of options. So when I have one that I like, I just click it, and I can move that. If I feel like this is too large, just like with my text earlier, I can re-edit it or manipulate it in a number of ways. So right now I'll resize it. That's pretty good. And then I can use this tool, which is pretty nice, to get more of them. Once I have a nice little group, I think I have enough, I can select them all and then manipulate them as a group. That means I can just move them anywhere as one item now. If you prefer to do some handwriting on the screen, that's also easy. I just click over to this cursive A. Now anything I write from here on out on the board, I can always process back into much neater handwriting just by clicking this A. It's always easy to get online with My Viewboard as well. I just click this browser. It's going to pull up the internet. And if I find on the internet any rich content or multimedia that I like, just click that and drag that into my whiteboard environment. Drag it to where I think it fits in particularly well. But if I do want to get a closer look, I can just expand that. So that's nice and clear now. And then once we're in this environment, I can always annotate directly to the surface of any media that I've gotten off the internet, however I like. So that could mean drawing attention to a particular figure or a particular instance of the craft of the artist. But anytime I decide I want some video, I can go back to the browser. I have YouTube here, and I can just select whatever video I would like, and then drag that onto the whiteboard environment. From there, it's easy to move around this video, and then I can just click play when I'm ready. One other thing I wanted to draw your attention to about this essential whiteboard environment is that if I ever feel like I'm running out of space, that's no problem because I can always scroll for more, and we call that the infinite canvas. Brought some media onto the board, I've annotated over it as you can see, and I feel like I'm getting a little cramped, I'm running out of space, and then bring myself more whiteboard. If as I'm using this whiteboard, I'm getting a little bit lost, I don't really know where I am anymore, no problem, I can always reorient myself, and I do that just by clicking on this hand. So with this map, you can see it's quite easy to reorient myself and see where I am on this large infinite whiteboard. Now I've had a chance to look at some of my Viewboard's basic features, it's time to set up an account. And that's going to give us access to a much more powerful set of tools, as well as the personalization and customization features that we just won't have access to until we're signed in. Setting up an account is quite easy. You just visit myviewboard.com and register. In some cases, your school may have already registered on your behalf. In that case, you'll receive an email from your IT department explaining how to proceed. And logging in really could not be any easier. Bring up this QR code here, scan it from my phone, and just like that, we're in. One thing you'll notice right away about my Viewboard is just how customizable, just how personalizable this whiteboard environment really is. Any settings that I have on here will follow me when I log in and out. But you can also sync this environment straight to any cloud storage platforms that you may be using, like Google Drive, Google Classroom, or OneDrive. As you can see, I'm working with Google Drive, so then it's quite simple. I just go to my Google Drive, and like I have this PowerPoint file. I can just drag that straight in. I just click, loads automatically. Now I have my whole lesson plan ready to go. It's all here. And then at the end of the day, when I'm ready to go, I can just sign right out. All of this will follow me. So we've already seen how easy it is to gather rich content and multimedia from the internet and bring it straight into the My Viewboard whiteboard environment. But there are a couple other ways that we haven't looked at yet. And one of them is called casting. So by casting, we can take what's on the Viewboard screen and cast it directly onto another device that might be in the room. So in this case, this laptop right here. So we just indicate that we're willing to receive the cast. Then I'll go to this green icon here. As you can see, this device is already popped up as Max. So I just select it. So now it's sending screen 2. It's already on there. Now I can draw or do anything that I like, just like normal on this whiteboard, but it's going to be sent straight to this other device. But this casting feature doesn't just work one way. What that means is that any students or other device users in the classroom are always going to be able to cast what's on their screen onto the Viewboard. Just take a click to indicate that I want to share, then go to the same icon, and now you can see what's on this device has been cast onto the Viewboard. Another My Viewboard function that makes it really simple to get other devices' content onto the screen is called throwing. How that works is you take a single file and you can throw that onto the Viewboard screen from another device. So let's say I want this homework I have here, just take a picture of that. When I find that file that I want, I have it right here, I can select it and then just hit this cast. So that file has been thrown. Now you can see up here on this bell I have a notification, click that, and any files that I have requested or thrown from other devices will queue up here so that I can manually select them as the instructor. In this case I've selected it, here's my file, I can just drag that onto my Viewboard. I can blow it up, I can annotate that as well as I see fit. Just grab the pen. So you can imagine how simple it's going to be to flip your classroom when you have casting and throwing features that allow students to bring what's on their own devices straight to the front of the classroom. My Viewboard provides a suite of tools for IT departments to remotely manage all on-campus My Viewboard accounts from a single location. It's easy for them to simultaneously add multiple accounts at the same time, to onboard and offboard users as time goes on, carefully controlling what information can be viewed through My Viewboard. My Viewboard is hosted by Amazon Web Services and is fully GDPR compliant. All of your lesson content is securely stored on your cloud drive. That means it's not viewable by anyone on the My Viewboard team or any other third parties. It's important to us that you know how seriously we take your data privacy and information security here at ViewSonic. My Viewboard represents the next generation not only for digital whiteboarding, but also for building a more inclusive, more engaging classroom. If you're interested in learning more about how My Viewboard can help change your classroom, we hope that you'll visit us online and check out some of our video tutorials.